Hello, my name is Melissa Ambers with Savvy Media Group. I'm glad that you're able to join us today so we can talk about how you can leverage your media. Now, before we start, I want to introduce myself and tell you just a little bit about myself. I am the owner and founder of Savvy Media Group, which houses two media platforms, Savvy the Business Podcast, which is in 3 countries, and we are on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. And then we also have Savvy the Business Magazine, which is a digital magazine that is in 10 countries. And it is a business magazine to where we have experts and various articles on business, tips, solutions, and things like that. Also, I am Lean Sigma, Six Sigma certified. Also have 2 certificates from Harvard Business School online. I also have an honorary doctorate in entrepreneurship and also 2 proclamations that was awarded to me from the City of Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner. So let's jump right into it. Understanding why media is important. Media is important because that lets people know who you are, that you are the expert. You are the person that they can come to for the solution that they are looking for. You have valuable information, valuable insight into what they are looking for. Here are 3 things that's important to know when you are attracting your audience in media platforms. You want to really know your audience. And understanding who your audience is will determine what platform you should or should not do an interview. And it's not to say that you shouldn't do interviews with, certain people just because. You really want to do your research and understand who the platform is, their audience, what they do, what they're talking about. Because if you're in front of a fashion audience and you're talking about crypto or graphic design, you're missing your mark. So you really want to be sure that you know your audience and understand who you're getting ready to speak to. The next thing is grabbing their attention. What are some valuable things that you can offer or talk about to really pique the interest of your audience? So if you know that you're, for instance, let's use this presentation for leveraging your media. A lot of business owners miss the mark, and we really don't leverage the media like we really should. So for this presentation, we're going to go through to make sure you understand how to use the media platforms, how to make your social media and other outlets like your website, really look support and really speak to who you are, and that you have some type of authority in your industry. The third thing we want to talk about is that building the authority. So when you're on these different platforms, building your authority just simply means that you are seeked out to talk about a certain topic. And based on that topic, you are an expert. You have these valuable tips, solutions, things that business owners, professionals can use to further their career, to decrease unnecessary spending and really increase the profits that they really want in their business. So really be sure that you're looking for the audience and using these, because it's going to really build the authority. Now, are you ready to make the change? It seems like it could be scary. Sometimes we're in our box, so we feel like, okay, I'm more comfortable here. It's time for you to get uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable you are, the better. I know it could be scary. It seems like it's untreaded territory, but that's okay. That's what the internet is for. That's what resources are for. So seek out those resources. So whether it be a friend, a mentor, a counselor, or someone even in the industry that you can connect with, by networking, and you can ask certain questions too, and they will freely, share the information with you and talk, have that talk with you. So by doing this, this is part of changing your habits, right? So you really want to change your habits and get out of your norm. The more often you get out of your norm is how you will grow, you will expand your network, and you never know who you're going to meet that can help you cross over, into that uncomfortable territory that so many of us are fearful of, and that we just don't think that we should be there or if it's the right place for us. So consider changing your habits and getting out of your norm and get uncomfortable. This is a quote that I came across from one of the books that I have. It's by Sally Hawkshead. I really like this book, and the name of the book is How the World Sees You. If you have not purchased this book, I would say it is a great resource to really help you, kind of understand, some of the things about you, how you move, how you're thinking, all of these little things that we may or may not think about. This is a good resource to help you kind of navigate through some of those. Now, this quote, I think, is an excellent point for this particular presentation. Our survival depends upon our ability to build bridges between ourselves and others. And that is what you're going to do when you're on these media platforms, is building a bridge between you and your audience. So you can make that connection, right? So you want to make it easy for them to really relate to what you're saying and start to grasp some of the things that you're saying and make them feel comfortable enough to say, you know what, I need to reach out to this person to, see how I can improve this, or what solutions, how can they help me in my business or even in my career, or maybe just the day-to-day life. Of course, that depends on your business and what your offerings are. Now, let's talk about that thing that's making us uncomfortable, right? I mentioned that earlier. So that thing that's making us uncomfortable, that's stopping us from, building our authority, that's stopping us from moving and, doing those things that we need to do, right? So ask yourself, what's stopping you? The next thing I want you to ask yourself is, who are your enemies? The enemies, we always think about our enemies maybe being our competition, or we may say it's our haters, or, something like that. But really think about who is the enemy and who is stopping you from building your authority. It is you. It's you because you don't want to be uncomfortable. You are afraid of reaching out. You're afraid of, knocking on the door and asking certain questions. The next thing is that you're distracted. You have a variety of different distractions, in your way, whether it be social media, or you're too busy in the lab trying to get that right post or the right image, or sit in front of a camera and do some type of recording to put up on your social media, or it may be even your website. So what are those distractions? And really think about getting those out the way. The next thing is going to be your competition. That should not even be a thought. Stop worrying about your competition and what someone else is doing, what media platform they're on, what they're saying on a certain platform, how they look, how they dress, what they said, what they didn't say. Stop worrying about your competition and looking for those loopholes to say, okay, well, they didn't do this or they didn't say that. So, okay, that's what I'm going to go do, right? So stop looking at your competition. Another resource is Blue Ocean Strategy. This is another book that's going to help you to understand how to not care about your competition, right? And the name of the book is, Blue Ocean Strategy, How to Create Uncontested Market Space and Make the Competition Irrelevant. That is what you want to do. It's irrelevant. So why worry about your competitors, what they're doing, what they're not doing, what they look like? Stop worrying about your competitors, because you want to continue to be in that blue ocean motion and not the red ocean. And for those of you that's not familiar with blue and red ocean, once you get this book, it'll make more sense to you. Now, it's time for you to contact the media. Who should you contact and why should you contact them? You want to leverage your media. You want to put out there that you are an expert. You want people to know that your industry, your business, your products, your services, whatever it is that you're offering, that you are the expert in that area. I'm going to say it again. Forget about your competitors. Forget about everyone else that may have a similar product, but they're just not doing it the way you're doing it. Don't ever put that in your motion when you're trying to, build your strategy and when you're making these lists and reaching out. The focus is, regardless if your competitors are on these different platforms or not, if this is a platform that you would like to be on, go to that platform. Send them an email, request to be on their show, whether it's TV, magazine, podcast, radio, whatever platform it is, inquire. Now, when you get ready to inquire to these media platforms, you want to really make sure that you're doing your research because you have to choose the right platform. If you're not choosing the right platform, it's not going to make sense. I mentioned earlier that if you are a graphic designer, but you're on a fashion platform, that doesn't make sense. So you don't want to just get on a podcast or any type of media outlet just to say, oh, okay, I did media here on this platform. You want to make sure that it makes sense. So if you're in graphic design and that is your thing, do your research. Look for these podcasts, magazine, TV shows, radio shows that's talking about graphic design, or people that's seeking out web design, that's interested in learning, that's looking for someone to do for them. What are some of the, great do's, don'ts. So figure out what's happening on those particular platforms and make you a list. Make a list about the platform that you are interested in and then create your plan of reaching out. You want to reach out to these platforms and let them know that you are interested in being on their outlet. Once you reach out to the media platforms, you want to make sure that you're ready. So don't just send an email or a message to them saying, hi, my name is Melissa Ambers and I am a web designer and I would like to be on your podcast. You want to be sure that you send them information. So when I receive an email from someone that wants to be on my podcast, not only will they introduce themselves, or the PR person may send the email for them, they will say their name, the name of the company, what they do, and they will give me a brief bio. They will let me know why they feel they're a great fit for the show. And sometimes they'll even list, here's some questions that we can discuss on the show. And plus, they will attach the full bio if they have one. Or they may ask, if you're interested, let us know. We can send you the full bio and, more information. That is what you want to do when you get ready to send out to these media platforms. And when you're doing this research, you want to go a little further. Don't just look to see if they're in the right industry or not. You want to also look at them to understand how they show run. Go listen to some of their previous shows. If it's video, audio, go out and listen. See how they conduct interviews. See what they talk about. Feel their body language, their the energy in how they're talking and how they're interacting with their guests. So you want to also do that to be sure there's somebody I can sit and talk to. And in the beginning, everybody's probably going to seem intimidating, right? And that's okay. You have to start somewhere. So reach out, get on these podcasts, radio shows, magazines, even like this. If you are a speaker and you are presenting here, we can use this. That this is considered a platform that I was invited as a speaker to talk about Elevating Your Value Summit. And then you can use that as well in your media kit. So that is an additional way to add that here's another stage that, I have been on as an expert. Now, when you're going to send these, and we talked about, how they would send an email with a brief bio and maybe attach or ask if I'm interested, that they will send me the full bio. Be prepared. Don't send them, a brief bio and say if they come back, yes, we're interested, we would love to have you on the show. And you're like, oh, wait, I got to go and prepare, my media kit, or I have to do updates, or it's not, looking together, it's looking sloppy, I need to go fix it. Before you do that first engagement, be sure you are ready to go. If you're sending them a press release, announcing something, then be sure again that you have your bio, media kit, all these different things available. So if they do reach back out to you, it's there, it's ready to go. You can move forward, and you don't have to waste time to try to, start correcting and getting things together. Like, oh, I didn't expect them to come back so quickly. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen for everybody, but if it does happen, you're ready. And that's the main thing, that you want to be sure that you are ready. Also, I want you to be prepared. Sometimes when you go to these media outlets, there is a cost. Some shows is pretty much like a full-time, job for them. So this is how they're making their income. You can start as low as $50, and it can go, of course, depending on the platform, it could get, easily up into the thousands based on the platform that, you're seeking. So, be prepared. And while you're doing your research, watch that. See if there is a cost, what the cost is. Is it within your budget? This is considered marketing. Add this to your marketing budget. Because once you do this interview, you're going to have it to place on your website, on all your social media platforms, your media kit. So this is considered part of your marketing that you will have as you're leveraging your media and letting people know that you are an expert in how they could connect with you and things that you could offer them. So you've done the interview. You thought it was great. Now you can exhale. You went in with nerves. You did everything that you were supposed to do. Now what? What are you going to do now that you've done the interview and you have the links or attachments or whatever it is that you may receive from this media outlet? Now what are you going to do? Do you really know how you should utilize that media interview to leverage your opportunities? It's all about marketing. It's marketing, marketing, marketing. This is part of your brand. This is part of marketing. This is to show this is who I am. I provide this solution. I am an expert here. I have this, product. The quality is, great. The pricing is great. This can save you time from doing, XYZ. So all these different things that, people are looking for when they're seeking you out, which is, you as a business owner, when they're seeking you out, these are the things they're looking for. Can you really help me? Can I afford your cost? Even if it's not a low cost, does it make sense for me to pay a higher cost because of the quality? So again, this is part of marketing. So this is leveraging your media. So not only do you have a website and you have all these, typical things that everyone get, but leveraging your media presence is huge, because now they can say, oh, okay, they've been on Fox. They've been in Forbes. They've been on Black Enterprise. They've been on this podcast. They've been on this radio. Whatever it is, you have that. And then they can also go and listen a little bit more about what you do and how you do it, and understand a little bit more. And they can, again, your tone. They will listen to the tone of your voice and understand, okay, well, let me call this person. Because even though they're just listening to this podcast, they can get a lot out of your tone as well. So be real aware of that and understand, what you can do. Now, all podcasts are different. These are a couple of clips from my podcast. Yes, I am. My podcast is video. And then we here, as you see at the bottom, you have all the icons of where our podcast can be listened to. And when I do interviews and I send the interview out to my guests, they have this video, and it has the frame on it. It has all the information, their name. Um, it's the podcast. It has all the icons. It has all this information. So when they're using this will help them when, if they don't go to their website or social media, but they just happen to see, this video on their social media, or somebody within their network shared it. They're like, oh, okay, well, let me go listen here. I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going for a run or a walk or something. Let me listen to them on Pandora or iHeartRadio. So now they know, oh, I can still listen to this. And when they see this, they won't say, okay, I have to find some time where I have to sit and listen in front of a computer, tablet, or TV so I can watch this podcast. Now it's more convenient. I'm going to go listen on iHeartRadio while I'm going for a run. Let me see, what she's talking about. So, and when I do these videos, as I'm sending them out, anyone on my guests, they can do the same thing. They could take clips of certain scenes throughout the video and put them on their social media or website. So they don't have to just have the video up there at all times. They could take clips anywhere within that video. Once you have that link, I say in my email, here's the link. You can use it for any of your marketing needs. Now, when you're doing podcasts, that's another question you want to ask as well. One, when will the podcast be released? Will it come in video form, an attachment of audio? If that is a question, because you have some podcasters that may do their podcast via Zoom, but you're only going to get an audio version, or you may just get a video version. So if that is something that you really want to know, make sure you ask those questions. And here's another clip of, another guest I've talked to on the podcast. And it's just, using these clips where you can see it and you have the icons and everything on here. This is not going to happen for every podcast. So I want to put that out there as well. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. This is just my preference on how I choose to do my podcast. So you won't have this all the time. So you want to always ask, if you don't get something like this where you have the icons where it really will show where the show can be, listened to, ask, is YouTube the only place this will be, or will you put this on another platform? And if so, what platform is that? So ask the question when you're doing your interviews and you're getting, the link from the published interview. Now that you've done this interview, now you can use these icons, put them on your website, put them in your media kit, put them on your banners on your social media. Let people know that you have been on these platforms. Let them know you are truly an expert and you have been on these platforms to talk about what you do. So you are the expert. So don't just use it when it first come out and post, hey, I was on this show, or tune in at this date and time and listen to me on this particular show. That's great. But after the show is done, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2-3 months after the show is done, where's your interview? You've stopped posting and plastering it everywhere. And I'm not saying you should continue to plaster it everywhere, but recycle. Once a month, put it back out there. You never know who's listening. Sometimes twice a month. You never know who's listening or who missed it. Oh, I never knew she was on this show. I'm going to share an example with you. So many of you, I'm sure you're doing this. We always want to Google our name to see where we are landing. Recently, I Googled my name. And typically we always kind of scroll through the, first page or, the half of the page, and we really don't go any further to see where we're sitting. But I took the time to go all the way through, I think the third or fourth page, And as I was going through Google, I found that there was an article written in 2016 about me in Black Enterprise magazine. shocked. I'm like, wait, what? What happened? Wait a minute. I'm clicking on the link and I'm on my phone and it's not going. So I jump up, get on my laptop, and I do this Google search again, and I find the link and I click on the link, and I'm like, oh, wow. I did not know that this happened. So this goes to show you, and I'm not saying anything, negative about this, but this goes to show you that you never know where you are going to land. And you want to utilize that. And even though it was done in 2016, I still grabbed that link and put it with everything else. It's on my media kit now. Now I'm using the Black Enterprise logo because I have been talked about in this magazine. And I even shared the link. Hey, here's an article about me talking about, these tools. And, I just shared it. And I even tagged the lady that wrote the article. So even though it was in 2016, it's about me. So why not? Why wouldn't I share that? So, and I said that to say is you want to really understand where you are. And that shows also you never know who's looking at you and seeing what you're doing. And I'm sure she, saw me somewhere where I started talking about the tools, what I do, why I do the tools, right? So this is why you want to be sure that you really take the time to look at what you're doing. Building credibility goes to, utilizing these icons on your website and everything. So you really want to be sure that you're using those because that is part of building your credibility. Don't get hung up on these vanity metrics. Vanity metrics, I'm not saying they're bad, and I'm not saying they're great or good. I'm just neutral on them. So I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm really neutral on the vanity metrics. I don't pay a lot of attention to vanity metrics. For one, a lot of times people just scrolling and clicking like or share. And that's including people that may know you or may not know you. And most of the time, if you go back to them and say, hey, oh, how did you like that article? Or what did you think about this particular post? What post? I just saw it and liked it, or I just saw it and shared it. So, and I'm saying that because most people, that's what you see. That's the vanity metrics. People that's just not really paying attention to what you're doing, but they're on your page just to be, let me be in emotions with everybody else. Majority of the time, and I'm going to say probably 95 to 98% of the time, people that really want to work with you or that's seeking you out, they're not going to like, they're not going to share, they're not going to tag, they're not going to comment. So don't get caught up with the vanity metrics. Now it's time to smile. Go do your interviews. Get on these media outlets. Do your research. Seek out the media outlet you want. Nothing's too big or too small. Seek out the media outlet you want. And if you seek out a bigger media outlet and they say, no, not at this time, we're not interested, try again in another 60 days. See what happens. And just keep shooting that out there. If that's where you really want to be, don't give up on getting on the media outlet that you really want to be on. Now, here's a QR code that you can scan. If you're ready to get your digital media kit together, these are some tips and some information on how you can start getting your digital media kit together. Just scan this QR code. Thank you so much. I hope I was able to give you some valuable information, and this will help you on your journey as you're growing your business and or your professional career and understanding how to leverage media. Thank you.